So the story in Epoch Times goes on to say that the FBI's records office located the report, that's just been missing for years, I guess, Rick, while searching for the work computer. Mike Seidel, chief of the office, said in a sworn declaration filed with the federal court in Texas on December 9th. He described the document as a 3-page forensic report detailing the actions performed by an outside entity to image the work laptop. The report was among 4 documents that had never been disclosed by the FBI in relation to Rich's case. So journalist Cy Hirsch said in or around 2017 that he was told by a source about an FBI report on Seth Rich. He said, according to the source, that Seth Rich's computer showed the DNC staffer had relayed DNC documents to Wikileaks. And Hirsch talked about the source's claims during a phone call with Ed Butowski, an investor who later retracted claims about Rich being a WikiLeaks source, and discussed the call during a deposition. So if you go back to that period of time, all right, so in 2016, we're ramping up toward the general election showdown between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. This DNC staffer, I think it was in July, is, quote, robbed, even though nothing's taken, robbed and killed. But to this day, we've never heard about a laptop.
Okay, he was shot to death in a robbery that resulted in no theft.
Yes.
So it's not a robbery, is it?
No,
it's just a murder. It's just a murder.
Right.
So, but see how they pop a word in, robbery? They deliberately put robbery into the article to confuse your mind.
Right.
No, there was nothing taken. Therefore, there was no robbery.
Now, back when we were talking about this, that we talked about the possibility of whatever information that Mr. Rich had, maybe WikiLeaks had it. And maybe that's why the U.S. wants Julian Assange so bad. Julian Assange, the head of WikiLeaks, has suggested that Rich passed DNC files to the group, which released the DNC files in 2016. Now, U.S. authorities have alleged that those pesky Russians, hacked into the DNC systems, but those allegations were made before the FBI received images from the DNC server to determine their validity.
We got to hold it right there. Federal authorities alleged that Russians hacked the Democratic National Committee systems.
Remember that story?
Yes, but they're still pushing it.
Yes.
The line's still showing up in news articles today, and everybody knows it was a hoax.
Yes.
Everybody, but they still insert that line. But the other line that was in there, put that back up on the screen, because there's one more line there. But those allegations were made before the FBI received images from the DNC server to determine their validity. You know what that means, Doc?
That the FBI had access to the DNC server. No, it means the opposite. Go back and look at it. I want to show you. Before the FBI received images from the DNC servers.
The Democratic National Committee never allowed the FBI to see its servers. They said, we're going to send you some pictures.
That's right. They didn't allow access.
They sent them photographs. Screenshots.
Digital versions of that.
Hey, this is just as real as Obama's birth certificate. You know why they couldn't show the FBI the servers? Because the FBI would have to fly to Ukraine.
That's right. Well, now the new records, these brand new records were found after the records office contacted an unnamed FBI special agent during its search for Rich's work computer. And that's according to FBI Records Chief Seidel. The other records are a letter from a third party that accompanied the work computer and 2 FBI chain of custody forms. None of the records were indexed to Rich inside of the Bureau's central record system, and neither the forensic report nor the custody forms mention Rich's name, according to the FBI. So think about what they just said there, Rick. They had the information, but they didn't have it associated with Seth Rich's name. They had the computer, but they didn't have it associated with Seth Rich's name. They were also not included in an electronic file created for Rich's case.
All deliberate actions.
Right. So the agent claimed that disclosure of the records would harm an FBI investigation into the allegations that Russia had hacked into the U.S. systems. And so basically they used that in order to disassociate it and say, hey, the Russians hacked the election here.
Do you remember years ago, 2016, when we, TruNews released the authentic audio recording of John McCain as a POW broadcasting on North Vietnamese communist shortwave radio, a pro-communist message.
Right.
Directed to the American veterans, or the American soldiers serving in the Vietnam War. Right. TruNews did that. We released the audio. Do you know where it was found? Now, we didn't. We're not the ones who found it. A whistleblower provided it to us. But do you know where the audio was found? It was in the Library of Congress, and it had been misfiled.
Yes.
In a wrong folder since the 1960s. Just by accident, Doc. This is the way they operate. They don't destroy it.
No, they just mislabel it and put it somewhere else. But they know where it is.
They know where to find it.
So,
but
now,
if they ever get caught at it, oh, you were looking for that? We've been looking for it too. We forgot to label it. Well, here it is.
Not only forgot to label the files, but also the work computer and the investigation about it. Now, one more line out of that article there. The FBI now wants the court to agree to keep the new record shielded from Brian Huddleston, a Texas resident who filed a lawsuit against the Bureau over its ignoring a Freedom of Information request for records on Seth Rich.
If it was just a sloppy robbery that went wrong, why is the FBI covering up these things?
Well, and that's the question. Why is the FBI even involved in the story?
This is a local,
right.
And a local crime, isn't it?
And initially, the U.S. Capitol Police were involved. Remember in the story? Mm-hmm. At first, it was D.C. Metro, and then somehow the U.S. Capitol Police got involved, and then it went to the FBI. It was that escalation of law enforcement.
What would be the Capitol Police? He didn't work for a congressman.
That's right. That was he was a DNC staffer, mm-hmm. or was he more? And so that's the question we ask. But I still want to answer the question, what drawer at the FBI they're keeping all the laptops in?
I bet there's a lot of them there, Doc.
So.